Hello, my name is Scott Buckley, Buckley Farms. We are going to show you now how to properly use your new ProMax cold compression equine therapy system. Let's get started. We're now going to open our system and examine the parts that come with it. When you first open your system, you'll find your two universal wrap boots. These are both good to use on the front legs and the rear legs. We'll show later in the video on how to properly put them on. Secondly, you'll pull the unit out itself. When you open it, you will find your ice container with its lid. You have the water inlet hose, water recycler, the pump itself with the hoses into the pump and the slot for to put your battery. Your controls are on the side, so you don't have to stand in front or rear of your animal. You can always stay next to him and properly adjust the pressure and the rate of flow for your water. You will also find spare parts, spare lids, spare hoses, and extra filters for your pump and your ice unit. You then will find your breast collar to go around the horse's chest, as well as a girth to hold it in place. When you open the kit, you'll notice it comes with 4 batteries. So you'll always have 2 batteries on the ready, 2 batteries to charge, as well as extra lids and extra filters. The really unique and special thing about this latest kit is if you need to add extra ice or water. Previous models had the pump and the water refill running through the lid. The greatness of this is you can open your lid, add additional ice, add additional water without disrupting the flow of the water going through your boots on your animal. When you open your pump, you will find the hoses running into your pump with a space to plug your battery in. If you turn it on and you're not getting the water flow that you're needing, check your connections into your pump and into your airflow, as well as possibly pumping the bladder to prime the pump when you first use it. It's a rare occurrence that the water doesn't flow on the first try, but if necessary, try this before anything else. In addition to the utility boots that already come with your system, you can still purchase the extra boots if you want a more specialized treatment. This is one of our short boots, works excellent on cannon bones and ligaments for such as a bowed tendon. This is a hawk boot that wraps specifically around a hawk, fits well directly over the knee as well if you need to isolate an area of treatment. And we still offer the full straight leg compression boot if you need to treat one on an entire front leg. Now we're going to show you how to properly charge the batteries for your ProMax system. Now we're going to charge our batteries. First thing we're going to do is take our charger out and plug it in to a 110 outlet. For a European model, we do have chargers that will be used in European outlets. It is important to note you remove your battery from your pump when charging it. And remember, the battery does not have a charge when you get your ProMax system, so it's important to charge it for 15 hours the first time you charge the battery, and then after that, no more than 12 hours on a lithium battery. You then take the receptacle plugged into the wall and take the receptacle on the battery, plug it in, and leave it overnight. We're now going to show you how to fill your ice containers. Remember, your unit comes with 2 ice containers. We have 3 here for demonstration purposes. One method is to take your ice container, fill it with water to about a 3/4 mark, leave it in your freezer, freeze it solid. Add your water. Close the lid, put it in your unit, insert your hoses, you're ready to go. Second way is take your empty unit, regular clear cube ice, and fill it completely full of ice. Once it's filled, do the same method. Take your hose, fill it to about a 3/4 amount on the container, close the lid, insert and use. The manufacturer's preferred method is to make a combination of the two. Get your container froze to about a 3/4 mark, add ice, and pack it in as best you can. Then add your water. And you're ready to go. The method using strictly ice is great when you're traveling on the road and don't have an opportunity to freeze your container all the way like you might at home. If you can, a small portable refrigerator with a freezer on top will freeze it overnight. You can use either 3/4 ice method or a method with 3/4 ice, as well as ice cubes and water. You must remember, add water. And as it warms, the ice will melt, and if you need to get an additional cooling, you can remove the lid, add ice while the unit's still running, and never break your flow of water and cold water to the area that you're treating. Now we're going to demonstrate how to put the ice container into your compression unit. Be sure you've taken the lid, secured it firmly on your ice container, unzip your unit, place it inside, put the pump hose with the filter in to draw the water, put the second hose in to recycle the water, zip it closed, make sure your battery is in the proper position, fully charged. Remember, do not put the battery in unless it's fully charged. Your hoses are solidly connected, zip it closed, and you're ready to go use your ProMax unit. Okay, now we're ready to use our ProMax Equine system. Our unit has its batteries charged, the ice containers are ready, the pumps are primed, and we're now going to take it and put it on our horse. We're now ready to place our system on the horse. Although this is easy to use when you're by yourself, it is a little handy if you have an extra set of hands when you put it on a horse for the first time. We first lay it over his withers. We then will take your girth and place it under his belly. When you get your system, you can note you can adjust for the diameter of your horse and his heart girth on either side of the pump and ice containers. We then take our breast collar that's adjustable on either side, snap it in place to prevent it from twisting. It's important to note, if you're only going to treat one side of your horse like we're going to do here right now, it's important to make sure you have a counterbalance in the opposite side you're working. So I always take one ice unit, one ice container, put it in one side that I'm going to use, and then set the other one in the other side just to prevent it from slipping. We now have our hose and our utility wrap that we're going to place on our horse. You unwrap your hose, open your pump, for the receptacle, take the cap off your hose, plug it in. The straps on your hose will help you take up any slack that you might have with your horse if you're treating a front or rear leg. You can adjust the tightness and the length using any of the different Velcro straps available on the hose. We're then going to take our boot and unwrap it fully. And we're going to put it on his front leg for today's treatment. It's important to take it and get a good, smooth fit as you place it around his gasket, over his knee, and around his cannonbone and tendons. You want to make sure you have a good smooth fit so when you turn on your unit and you have the compression comes through, you don't have a wrinkle that might pinch him. It is to be noted, you may need to adjust the boot as you use it as the pressure increases when you first turn it on. So after you plug in the hose into your boot, you're ready to turn on your unit and treat your horse. We're now ready to turn on the pump and use our unit. First thing to do is press the on switch and make sure you hit the red number comes on. If it doesn't come on, you need to make sure your battery is plugged into the pump properly and therefore you're getting power. The amount of pressure is in 75, 50, and 15 milligrams of mercury is the unit of measure for the air pressure that will go through the boot. The unit itself has a feature of a constant pressure for inflate and another feature of inflate and deflate that will cause more of a massaging action to squeeze and release the boot. For the water rate, there's a manual. To first use your machine, hold down the manual button and pump the water through the boot to warm it or to cool it or warm it as you choose. The automatic settings will run 30 seconds and then run every 20 seconds. Then every 30 seconds, it will run 15 seconds, and then every 30 seconds, it will run 10 seconds as a rate of flow for the water. You might need to experiment with your machine to see which one works best for you. So for this horse, we're going to start now at the medium setting of 50 milligrams per mercury and start setting our pressure in our boot. We're going to hit the inflate button to inflate it, hit the 50 milligrams per mercury pressure setting. We're going to manually pump the water through the boot and set it to run for 30 seconds every 15 seconds. Okay, we've now left it on our horse for the amount of time we want to use it. It will run until you turn it off or the battery runs dead. Now that we've treated our horse for how long we want to use it, we're going to remove the product from our horse. First thing we do is simply turn off the pump. Second thing we will do is disconnect the hose from the boot. Put the cap back on the boot. Remove our hose and disconnect our hose from the pump. We'll set it aside. We will then remove the boot from our horse. Take our boot and set it aside. We will then undo our breast collar, set it aside, undo your girth, and we'll take it off all as one unit and dismantle it away from our horse and set it aside. One thing thing to remember, when you're done treating your horse, if you've used the method that we described earlier of freezing the ice container and adding either ice or water to it, when you're done, you will find your ice will still be, for the majority, still intact. What I like to do is I'll pour out the last bit of water and maybe, if necessary, add some water to the ice, and I'll just simply refreeze it so I can use it again at a later time. You're aware of the universal wrap that comes with your ProMax system. What makes it universal is that this one wrap can treat both a front leg and a rear leg. I'm now going to just demonstrate how to place it on a rear leg. The rest of it is the exact same way that you treat a front leg, by placing your unit on your horse, getting your hose, adjusting your length, and then using the pump as previously demonstrated. I find if you braid their tail, it's easier to get the wrap on, then it's just one less thing that gets in your hands. When you do it, again, make sure you have a good, smooth fit around the leg, so when the pressure comes, it doesn't wrinkle or pinch when you place it on. When treating a rear leg, a little more care may need to be used in that some horses are not as comfortable with something being wrapped around their hind leg as they are their front legs. This is a good time to have someone with you just in case you need an extra set of hands when using it for the first time. When using it for the first time, it might be best to stay with your horse while he's getting used to it, even though the system is designed to be completely portable and user-friendly without you having to have your hands on your horse the entire time. A little sense can really cause, a little sense will stop a bigger problem later down the line. When removing it from their rear leg, it's the same as removing it from a front leg, just a little extra caution might need to be used. Start at the bottom, unwrap it, being cautious of your animal moving. When done, fold it back up to be used again at another time. When you remove your boot, you will hear a hissing sound when you disconnect it from the hose. That's the air pressure coming out. You can replace the cap, the air pressure will escape, no problem. You will note that there's water still in the bladder of your universal wrap. One trick that we like to use is we will take the wraps, leave the water in them, and then place them in the refrigerator, and it keeps the water cool. Do not put them in the freezer, in that the water will freeze and it will ruin the bladder inside the boot. Another trick we will do in our ice containers, if it's half full of ice and water, sometimes if I have another horse to treat not too long after, I will not pour the water out. I'll add more water to it, put it in the refrigerator or in an ice chest to chill the water. All that does is get your horse therapy quicker, and the cold water gets colder through the boot faster. This is the end of the demonstration on how to use your ProMax Equine cold compression therapy system. For any additional service and/or questions, please note the contact information below. We will be happy to assist you in anything you may need, including parts, service, tips, or any additional questions that you may have that we did not cover in the video.